What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Derek and Cody, with you as always. Guys, it was day one of training camp. Obviously, everybody's excited. The overreaction season has now officially begun. And, it's definitely a good time to be alive when you know the football is back, especially when Colts football is back. And day one definitely did not disappoint. There were a couple of important things to talk about. And we will say at the top of the video, if there's anything else you guys want us to discuss involving what we've seen just from day one and going forward, be sure to let us know in the comments. But we wanted to zoom in on something particular that happened today. And it was one of the few surprises, I guess you will say, from today. And that was who was starting at cornerback 2 outside of Charvarius Ward. Now, I know Cody did a short on this, so if you've already seen it, you already understand this. But if you haven't seen it, basically, Justin Walley, the third-round draft pick from the Indianapolis Colts this year, was getting the majority of the starting reps during team drills and everything else today. So it definitely had Cody and I in a bit of shock. We definitely thought that Justin Walley would have some kind of impact, and we said, he could potentially get some decent reps right out the gate, because why would Lou Anarumo and Chris Ballard make this kind of draft pick if they did not see something in him that brought something out, right? Because we talked about it, Cody. You didn't really need that position because you felt comfortable with Jalen Jones. You had depth behind him, so you felt like you were in okay shape, but they did it anyway. And now here we see he's not just doing the role, he's starting. At least as of right now at the start of camp. Now, of course, Jalen Jones got his fair share of reps. Juju Brent's got a few reps. And a few other guys as well. So it's not like Wally's taking all of it for himself. But Cody, what's your reaction when you see that Justin Walley alongside of Kenny Moore and Charvarius Ward to start out training camp?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see his name brought up there, right? Because we've seen Jalen Jones be kind of the favorite throughout the course of the offseason, right? Because he was cornerback number 1 last year. And, even when Justin Walley was drafted, we said, I don't know where he's going to fit in right away, right? Like, is he going to be a special teams guy? What's his role going to look like? And I think some of us maybe didn't think that, Justin Walley is going to seriously compete for that number 2 corner spot. Now, I will say this, it was only day one. So, again, this is overreaction season. A lot can change in the coming days and weeks when it comes to that number 2 outside corner. But, and I do know also Jalen Jones, missed some of the spring with an injury, so maybe the Colts are just easing him back in. There's a lot of factors that could play into this. But the interesting thing is, though, Derek, he was ahead of, like you said, Juju Brents. He was ahead of Samuel Womack. He was the guy at that number 2 outside corner, and there was a lot of guys to choose from. And, we said, like you just referenced, we thought he was going to have some sort of role, and maybe a bigger role than we thought, but we never envisioned him being the number 2 outside corner in that starting 3, in that nickel package. We never thought that was going to be the thing. We thought it was going to be Jalen Jones or one of these other guys maybe, but never thought it was going to be him. And it's definitely surprising. And obviously, we heard he made a strong impression, in the spring. But again, this guy's only a rookie, right? And a lot of times you don't see that from rookies. They ease them in. Sometimes they take their time with these rookies. I mean, heck, we saw it with Juju Brents. He didn't start right away, even when the Colts had not great depth at corner, because they felt like they needed to ease him in. Now, he was a little bit injured, so that's a little bit a part of that. But each guy's a little bit different. Each case is a little bit different. And it seems like Justin Walley's just a guy that's going to come in right away and already has, and just is going to work and put in the necessary things to potentially really steal some playing time from some of these other guys, right? And, that was one thing we said, Derek, was, yeah, we like these other corners, and I'm sure the Colts obviously do too, but let's face it, Justin Wally's a Lou Anarumo guy. Like, the Colts drafted him this last year. They didn't draft Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, signed Samuel Womack, all those other guys. Those weren't Lou Anarumo guys. It was Javarius Ward in free agency and Justin Walley in the draft. Those are the two Lou Anarumo guys they brought in. So we kind of asked the question, is that a factor maybe? And at least so far, looks like that might actually be, there might be something to that a little bit.
Yeah, it would be stupid for us to not take that into consideration. Again, like, why would you take a cornerback in the third round when the position is already filled with a bunch of young players that are trying to figure themselves out, right? I mean, why? And not only take that position, but take that position as early as you did, right? Because, I mean, Cody, even you and I were sitting there on draft day and we're like, really? Like, that position? I mean, there were so many other positions that we felt like you could have taken the chance and taken a shot in the dark at somebody. Running back, defensive tackle, a linebacker, for heaven's sake. I mean, you could have kept, the list went on for a while outside of cornerback. So, I mean, obviously, there has had to have been something about Justin Walley that just got Lou Anarumo excited, because there's no reason that you take a guy like that early unless you saw something. And from all accounts, from OTAs and even the start of camp and even before that, I mean, we've been hearing people say he's a dog. Like, he's a dog. He goes out there and he's one of the most intense guys out there on the field at any given point. So, I mean, there's got to be a method to the madness here, and definitely going to keep an eye on that to see if that continues to be the case. Because you're right. Who knows about Jalen Jones? Like you said, he kind of had he was a little bit banged up this offseason, but doesn't seem to be having any issues now. And I know how much Chris Ballard really likes Jalen Jones. Now, how much Chris Ballard likes Jalen Jones versus how much Lou Anarumo and Shane Steichen do, that's a completely different story, right? So, I mean, it comes down to who are the best players that Lou Anarumo feels is best for this defense. And again, it's day one, but Justin Walley is getting the early nod over these other guys who have been in the NFL for a couple years now. Some have even been in the system for quite a while. And the rookie is turning heads. And I think that's a great sign, Cody, because, I mean, Justin Walley's going to get his opportunities. I'm really hoping he can make the best of it, because if he does start as a rookie, that's got to mean something good for him.
And even if he doesn't start, I think it's pretty obvious from what the Colts have already said, in minicamp and OTAs, and obviously what we saw in day number one, Justin Walley is going to have a pretty significant role in this secondary. Like, he's going to play a good amount. And we've heard the Colts saying, we're going to play a lot more DBs on the field. Justin Walley is going to be on the field a lot. I mean, if it holds like it is, even if he's not technically outside corner number 2, he's still going to be on the field a lot as a rookie, like more than I think a lot of us anticipated. I know, like, when we were kind of thinking about what kind of impact, we didn't necessarily have like a huge impact right away, right? But that is looking like it might be subject to change. Like, I think I said, like, he was like maybe a 5 or 6. It might be a 7, 8, 9, if this continues, which is crazy. And, we've seen the Colts do this before where, they take a guy, and obviously it's way too early to make these crazy comparisons, but we've seen the Colts take guys and people question that and say, you took him too high or whatever, and it's worked out for them. So they've had success under Ballard where they found some of those players, right, where people are like, who is that? I've never heard of that guy. Now, it hasn't been a perfect track record, but there's definitely been times where the Colts have kind of found those diamonds in the rough. And we've seen them do it, especially at corner, like with guys like Isaiah Rodgers, for example, and some other guys as well that you could point to. But yeah, I am very intrigued to see how this continues. And, is that just kind of a thing with, Jalen Jones obviously being eased back into it, and some of these other guys, Juju Brent's coming off that pretty significant injury as well. So I'm kind of curious, does this continue to hold? because right now it kind of looks like it might be his opportunity here to potentially take a commanding lead of this number 2 outside corner room. It might be. And we thought, oh, Jalen Jones is going to take it and it's going to be everybody else, but maybe it's a little bit more open than we initially thought.
I definitely love the fact that, this cornerback room is full of young guys looking to prove themselves, Cody. It's only going to be better for the competition, right? I mean, we dogged on Ballard a little bit for that, for, putting it into retrospect for a couple positions, but other positions it's not. But now you have a cornerback room filled with 5 or 6 guys that are going to be, battling really freaking hard for that cornerback 2 spot. And I love to see it. And, and for just to go off on a tangent just a little bit here to end this, Charvarius Ward being out there is such a big thing for the Indianapolis Colts defense, because if you have Charvarius Ward out there, teams are going to be less inclined to want to throw the football in his direction because of just how well he can be connected to people. And that leaves more opportunities for the rest of the guys. Like we saw, obviously, Kenny Moore had a chance at an interception today. Couple guys in the middle of the field were intercepting passes today because quarterbacks didn't want to throw to the edge where Charvarius Ward was at, man. So, it opens up a lot of opportunities for these other guys to make big plays. And I certainly hope that that is going to be Justin Walley who can do that as well. Because if he pans out, Cody, and he does actually start in a few games this year, I mean, that 3rd round pick that everyone's immediate reaction was like, who might actually be one of the highest valued picks of this draft.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never truly know until, it's live reps. Like, we'll never know with these guys. I mean, we see corners all the time, especially young corners. They have issues at times, right? It's natural, but sometimes you get those guys who step in right away and are just absolute dogs and just kind of take it over and kind of take the chokehold, if you will, off of that. And that's the great thing about, like you said, with Charvarius Ward, is you already got the number 1 wide receiver of any team. You got them locked down. You got that figured out. Now, it's really who's going to be on that number 2 and who's going to have more opportunities to thrive, with knowing that, one guy is completely, you're good on that side with him. Now it's just a matter of stopping the other guys, the other weapons here. So, yeah, all that to say, I'm excited for Justin Walley and obviously making strong impressions already. If he's already doing that as a rookie, Derek, what's the season going to look like for him? I'm very, very interested and hopeful that if this is a true thing, that he just continues to build off of it. And if he's a number 2 corner on the outside, so be it. He's earned it, right? I don't think that's the thing I think I love about, what they've done here with Lou Anarumo is I don't think there's any favorites here. Like, I think it's truly like, hey, whoever is the best guy out there, we're going to give them that. We're going to give them that spot, whoever earns it. Sometimes it didn't feel like that was always the case with Gus Bradley, right? We saw that at times where different players who clearly were not as good as other players were getting playing time over them. But it seems like Lou Anarumo is more of the, you have to earn everything. And Justin Walley has a really good chance here to do that as a rookie, right away. And if he can do that, turn into a really good corner himself, man, the Colts could be looking at a really, really darn good corner room. I mean, if Justin Walley pans out, and you already have guys like Jalen Jones on your roster, who I think is an average to sometimes above average corner, whoo, man, you feel really good about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, guys, it's day 1. There's a lot more days to talk about.
Yeah,
and
right.
So, things can change. But that's just immediate reaction, what we're seeing today. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Again, if you made it this far into the video, please like it. Please subscribe. We're going to be here all off season and all of training camp, bringing you the latest updates and content about the Indianapolis Colts. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you guys so much. And as always, Colts.